Hi everyone, welcome back, or if you're new, then welcome. I haven't seen you in forever. I have had the craziest year in all the best ways possible. So I haven't had time for YouTube. But I'm back now, and if we are here today is because we are completely changing, making over, reorganizing my bookshelves that I have behind me. These ones are so old. They're like first generation Billy bookshelves. They are falling apart. I'll insert some clips just so you can see like the entire back is off. Screws are flying everywhere. This is not, they're wobbly. This is not good. And also, I'm really lacking space, and I want to make the most of this space, so I decided to buy new ones and have the extension so that they go pretty much all the way up. And also decided that since we're, at it, might as well completely personalize it, and I decided to paint. And I was thinking, I have this mental image in my head. When you daydream of like your dream home, I have a whole library in my dream home. This, like the inside, I see the entire space. This is very vintage inspired, like button batten, like wood paneling, paint, mirrors, beautiful paintings, old furniture, dark wood, like very moody. I have the whole thing in here in my head. Of course it's in my head. It's a mental image, so a little duh. But yeah, I have everything in my head. And the way it is, and is like an entire, obviously, wall full of books, built-in bookshelves, crown molding, the whole thing. And it is like a kind of not too dark, but like a moody olive green color. And I thought, since I'm getting new bookshelves, why not take it one step closer to that sort of dream of mine and like manifest it a little bit in my reality? Why not? So it's just paint, right? It is just paint. So let's paint the new bookshelves, that beautiful green of my dreams. And I'm also going to paint, I don't know if I'm going to do it for this video because this is going to be a lot of work, but I'm also planning on painting the CD columns that next to it so that it looks more like one unit and built-in custom look. And yeah, and I think it's gonna make the books really pop against the darker, background. And I'm excited. So this is happening. We are committing. I just need more space in my bookshelves, and it just makes me happy. Books make me happy. And yeah. So I will walk you through the current situation so that you can see what works and what doesn't, and we'll talk about this. Okay. Alright, so as you can see up there, there's a lot of space. I used to have two storage boxes, but I'd rather have books, to be honest. And then this
sort of extra shelf that I added. I actually added that, I call it the bonus shelf, because it's not really a shelf, is it? Like, books don't even stand on it. It's so short, but I really needed space. So this is my sci-fi shelf. I would like the sci-fi books to go up there with the nonfiction. I'll talk about it later. And then I have this shelf, which is one of my favorite shelves. It is the mainly Jane Austen collection, and I do have some Bronte sisters. I have Mary Shelley. I do have Little Women, like mainly, you know, badass women writers, right? And you have Venus just chilling with the girls. And this is one of my two favorite bookshelves, so I would like to move it below next to my other favorite, which is my fantasy classics. So I would like my two favorite bookshelves to be like front and center. And this shelf is the classics. So I have all my old classics into modern classics. So I think I will just like to move this one, just sort of like switch these two, have the classics up above and the collection, I guess, my collection below, next to my second favorite shelf, which is my fantasy classics. I have The Witcher. I'm missing Tolkien, but I have the space for it. Actually, it's a bit of a shame that I didn't own any Tolkien for the longest time, which is a shame because it's the author who really got me into high fantasy. By reading The Hobbit as a kid and then The Lord of the Rings and, you know, falling into that fantasy world really got me. But the thing is, I was always reading from my parents' collection, my dad being a big fantasy and sci-fi reader, which is also why I don't have that many sci-fi books. It's not that I don't read sci-fi or fantasy, it's just I usually read from my dad's home library. So, but I did order a nice little set of The Hobbit and the Three Lord of the Rings, the trilogy. So it's going right here. That space is just waiting for its arrival. And then below that, I do have some more fantasy, which I would love for this entire shelf to be my secondary fantasy, because like I said, I love fantasy, but for some reason I don't own a lot, and I would like to change that. So that would be its home. It's just waiting for the books. And then I started grouping together all of my nonfiction that I would love to go all the way up there with the sci-fi. I don't know if it's gonna work together, if I'm gonna be able to put everything together. I might keep the extra shelf and put it up there as well, so that I have one shelf for sci-fi and one shelf for nonfiction. We'll see how it goes with the new bookshelf, but basically this is all my nonfiction, and I would love for this to move so that this is my second fantasy shelf, and I would love to grow that, which would mean like I have all of this space for new or not so new fantasy books. By the way, if you have any recommendation on fantasy books, I'm not really into YA fantasy. I'm finishing Cersei at the moment, mythology retelling. I'm really getting into it. I loved this book, so I'm kind of getting into mythology and sort of fairy tale retellings. I don't know, but usually I'm more high fantasy. So not really YA. I'm not really a YA reader. I don't really enjoy the writing usually. I kind of feel like it's always written by the same person. I'm sorry to say that. It's how I feel. But so if you love YA, don't feel offended. It's just my personal feeling. But I would love for this shelf to be fantasy, which is magic, just like, you know. And do you know what I love the most? Fantasy, mystery. We're getting there. Mystery. Fantasy, mystery, like, you know, magic elements. Why not a little bit of romance? Historical. Love historical romance. I love historical novels. I do have most of what's here is like historical fiction. I love historical fiction. So anything that's like historical with elements of fantasy and mystery. And why not time travel? I love a good time travel story. So if you have any books that sounds like this, with like some of these elements or maybe even all of the above, I take it. Then moving on, I have mystery. This is also something I would like to grow. So I'm making the space. I will have all this space to grow the collection. I have mostly Agatha Christie, but I would like to get into cozy murder mystery. You know, cozy mysteries, they sound cool. That sounds cool. Then I have my beautiful grandma. And then this is contemporary, mostly historical fiction. So this shelf will probably stay like this, and I would like to grow this section. So if I need the entire shelf for mystery, eventually, like I said, I'll move this section up there in the extra shelf if needed. But for now, I think it's going to stay like this. And then the very last bottom shelf is just my like beautiful books, like coffee table books, I guess you called it. Just art books, design, architecture, cinema, costume design, costume history, art history, and some photo albums as well. So this is the situation. And oh yeah, you can see here how much it's falling apart. Yes, this is the situation. Let me show you up there. See how like there's even screws like coming out. So yes, this is the whole situation. It's not so bad, but I would like to, like I said, rearrange it and make space to grow mainly my fantasy and mystery shelves, particularly fantasy, because I love, this is probably my favorite genre to read, and I don't own that much. And this is, you know, it has to change. And again, if you have any recommendation, let me know. So yeah, I have some work to do. So now I'll just wait for the new bookshelves to arrive, and then we'll get into painting all of this. And painting, building, reorganizing. I think I'm going to take pictures of the shelves so that I remember the like order and organization, because it's pretty well organized. So yeah, I think I should do that. Yeah, I'll see you in the next step. Bye.
Okay, so as you've seen, I went thrifting yesterday. I went to a new, well, it's not new, but it was new to me, a new charity shop. And they had a really, really good, it was recommended to me for their really, really good book section, and I have to admit I was not disappointed. My husband and I said that, I think we're gonna go back very soon and like stay for hours, because we actually ended up staying probably more than an hour for sure, probably an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we had to leave because they were about to close. So we definitely want to go back. So here's what I got. Like I said earlier in the video, I want more mysteries. So I got a new Agatha Christie Poirot. This is Chris Poirot Christmas. What's the exact title? Yeah, birthday. Hercule Poirot's Christmas. Yes. So that's that. I read it, but I don't think I have it. A physical copy of it. So that's that. And then I found two really good classics, French classics, mystery, The Phantom of the Opera and The Perfume of the Lady in Black, by the same author, Gaston Leroux. And I don't think I ever read, I read that one, I don't think I ever read The Phantom of the Opera, and I mean, it's a classic, and I feel like I'm gonna love it. So, then, very random, but I found a book about Celtic mythology, and I love Celtic, culture, I guess, and history, and it's specifically mainly about Brittany, because the author is from Brittany in France, so it's more about like the Gauls. Yeah, it talks about like Munos, Velenos, all the other gods, and from Ireland and Wales, and yeah, so I'm really, really into that stuff. Like I said, I'm really into mythology, but like Celtic mythology in particular. I don't know do you say Celtic or Celtic? Because in French we say Celtic. So Celtic, Celtic, whatever. Love that. Love that for me. Then I got so many, pretty much all the rest of it is either sci-fi or fantasy. So I actually found a really nice copy of The Hobbit. It's a bit, I mean, it's clearly used, but I really liked the classic Talking Dragon in red with the black and gold. I thought it was really, really pretty. Even just the spine is really pretty. So got that. I got the first volume of the Witch's Cycle by Anne Rice, because whenever I talk about loving fantasy and specifically witches, this one is recommended to me a lot. So I thought I have read Anne Rice, but more like her vampire things, Interview with a Vampire. I'm not really a vampire person. Not really a vampire girl. I'm more of a witch girl. So I feel like I'm gonna enjoy that a lot more. That I don't know at all. Apparently it's a French fantasy book. It reads very sort of Witcher or like Game of Thrones. It is compared to Game of Thrones, so I don't know. The High Kingdom by Pierre Levelp, Volume 1, The Night. Okay, I was intrigued. Oh, and then, yes. And then I've been meaning to read The Wheel of Time for quite a while, and I found this first volume, The Eye of the World, and I really liked these edition. It's very good condition. It's like almost new, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna get this. And then I found this very pretty one with the gold. I mean, it's kind of kitschy, kind of like a bit cheesy, but I love it. It feels really like old school. And there's a really cute dedication. Someone bought it for their sick love and hoping that this book is going to be a good escape and release until they get better. So I thought it was very, very cute. And it's like, I love you. And it was really, really cute. And then I thought, I'm going to get that one, I'm going to exchange and give that one back. And then I was like, oh shit, I like them both. I don't want to get that one, give that one back. I do want to get that one. So I got both. So hopefully I like the Wheel of Time, because if I don't, then I have 2 volume 1 that I won't like. So, so hopefully I like it. And so hopefully I like it. Then I found this book, which I thought was very, very, very pretty. Leather bound. Again, I've never heard of it, I don't think. It is The Angel of Night by Brent Weeks. I kind of think it might be about about vampires maybe, but it seems very fantasy. They have a map. We always love a good map at the beginning of a fantasy book, don't we? And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But I thought it was really very, very pretty. So like worst case scenario, it's just gonna look good on my shelf. Oh, then that one I was really intrigued about. Again, never heard of it. You probably know, like maybe some of you know all of these books and you're like, never heard of it. Like, no. But this is Atlantis by David Gibbons. I think I've heard of David Gibbons on BookTube, so you probably know about that. But it's supposed to be a like Da Vinci Code, but with Atlantis, kind of mystery, adventure, historical, like history lesson / mystery. I don't know. Sounds good. So we'll see. Then I got some classic sci-fi. So Fahrenheit 51. What is the English title? Because I got it in French. The Kings of Steel by Asimov. The Robots by Asimov. Dune, Volume 1. Because I want to reread it. And my husband tells me that he's got the other volumes, but for some reason he doesn't have the first one. But he has them at his parents', so we're going to try and get them back. But at least we have the first volume. And then the Ender's Strategy by Orson Scott Card. Thank you. And finally, my husband found this gigantic book. Apparently it's volume 2 of a trilogy, but he found the other ones last night on a second-hand website. So that's good. We're good. This is by Peter F. Hamilton. and the original title is The Temporal Void. And there's also a map. That sounds cool. And that was all of our finds. Anyway. Probably like 15 plus bucks. That would have to make space for. So this is good. This is good. Okay, let's continue.
So here we are. Ta-da! First of all, let me address my phone. I'm actually recording the audio because I had a few issues with the previous clips in the intro, etc. So I'd rather you hear me properly. So excuse the phone. Okay. That being said, look at it. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? I am so happy with the result. I'm obsessed. I love the color. I love the vibe. It really did bring a lot of moodiness to the room, and honestly, sometimes I just pass by the room and I get into the room just to look at it, and I'm like, nice. Yeah, nice. And I just go back to whatever I was doing. So I love it. I love it so, so much. It does make the books really pop against the darker background, and I'm obsessed. It really just wants to, it makes me want to grab a book and read it. And what else can I say? I'm really, really happy with it. I love that. What I love is that you can really make it your own. So, whatever color you love or what works with your decor, like if your favorite color is purple or like hot pink or yellow, you can completely have a yellow bookshelf or a hot pink bookshelf, and that's what I love about it. I personally wanted something a little bit more mature and a little bit more elegant, and I feel like it really achieved that. And I just love the result. If you're ever thinking of doing that, just so you know, it is a bit time consuming for sure. It can be pretty inexpensive because paint is not that expensive to buy. I would still recommend pretty good quality paint because it's a high traffic area, especially, it can be a high traffic area if you read a lot. So, yeah, good paint, yes, it's a must. Also, but it doesn't have to be expensive, but it doesn't have to be that expensive. Like, even good paint can be pretty pretty inexpensive, and you only need one can. Like, I did all of this 3 coats on everything and I still have some left over, so you know which is good because if I need a little touch up here and there from time to time in the future, I still have some. But I would definitely recommend good quality at least. But also, it is, like I said, very time consuming. If you're thinking, oh, it's a weekend job, no. I mean, if you're able to do all of that in one weekend, honestly, I'm impressed and you're a champion. Good for you. I didn't. It took me much more days than that. I don't know exactly, probably like 4 days maybe in total, because like I said, you have every single element, every single shelf, every single panel to paint on both sides, and 2 to 3 coats everywhere, plus the primer. That is a lot. That is a lot. So, but it's so worth it. Honestly, it is so worth it if you want something more personal and, more you. And it creates such a good vibe, and I feel like it went, this whole area went from like student mismatched shelves, in like their bedroom, to sophisticated, elegant, purposeful decor, if that makes sense. It looks so much more, I was gonna say expensive, but not necessarily in a financial manner, just like more fancy, more purposeful. So anything that's more purposeful looks more, fancy in a way, more elegant, more sophisticated, rather than mismatched student shelves. So that's really what I love about it. It just really elevated that whole area. And even my husband is like, oh, this is so inspiring. I love that. And we just love going to that room more and more, which I'm so happy about, because it's a shared, like, studio working space, creative space for him and I, and plus the library. So it's a common room, and I love that, and it's more and more inspiring for both of us. So I'm really happy with that. I'm not going to talk about the books that much or the organization because I did earlier and it's pretty much the same. I have my nonfiction way up there, and then I have sci-fi, and then I have classics, and then I have my sort of Jane Austen collection, and then I have fantasy classics, more fantasy, which is growing at the moment, and I have more and more books going coming my way, so I'm excited. The mystery section definitely grew as well. I'm excited about that, and this is just like contemporary, non contemporary fiction. Yeah, that's not necessarily fantasy or otherwise. And then I have my beautiful art books down there. And yeah, that's all the organization I need. I'm not necessarily very much into alphabetical order or anything. I honestly, if you're able to organize that way and your brain works that way, I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I really do. But mine really doesn't work that way. It's too much for me. It's too much for me. I tried the rainbow system as well. Not really my thing either, because I like a bit of structure, but not too much. I like a bit of order. I like a bit of order in my chaos. That's what it is. Or a little bit of chaos in my order. No, a little bit of order in my chaos. That's more like it. And so if you're very, very orderly and you organize like by alphabetical order or chronological order, that's beautiful. Good for you. I couldn't. But yeah, what can I tell you? I love it. I'm obsessed. So that's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so happy. I hope you like it. If you do, let me know. I would love to have some recommendations. What do you think about the color? Let me know in the comments. Book recommendations, anything, any feedback. I love to hear from you. And if you want to see more from me, I would suggest you subscribe. I think I'm going to film a TBR with all the new books that are coming my way very soon. So if you want to see that, I suggest you stick around. Also, the tarot readings are coming back as well. So if you are on my channel for that, don't worry, it's coming back. And if you're still here, thank you so much, because that's a pretty long video and I hope you liked it. Bye!